So let's move on and let's zoom through 6AD2, shall we?
Okay. Region 1.
It's so rare. It's so rare that you could look at one first-round game and say, I think the regional winner's coming out of that one. But South Lake Carroll, Cedar Hill right now just feels like whoever wins that's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
Now, Mansfield's already beaten Cedar Hill. But, can they, and we talked with Jeff Holm yesterday, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous because of Kennedy Brooks. They got to get past a feisty Colleyville Heritage team. They probably have to get past Flower Mound Marcus.
Yeah.
And then Wolford Friendship maybe, or Abilene.
Mm-hmm.
This is, to me, the real wild card. There are two wild cards in this bracket. Assuming that you don't think, assuming that the winner of Carroll and Cedar Hill is going to be a favorite to come out of that region.
Right. There
are two wild cards in this bracket. One is Denton Geyer.
Yeah.
Who has been so wildly inconsistent. And yet, when they put it all together, they're really dangerous.
Yeah. No, there's no question.
The other one's St. Angelo Central.
Right.
And that win over Permian is impressive. They are another team that has been really up and down, but when they put it all together, they're really dangerous. Brandon Wooten can sling it all over the field. We saw last week against Permian that their defense is capable of being really good.
Yep.
If they put it all together, they're dangerous. For now, I go towards Cedar Hill.
Okay.
Again, they're the defending champs, the two-time defending champs. If they can get out of Dragon Stadium, which is by no means a guarantee.
Definitely not.
If they can get out of Dragon Stadium, I think that they have the inside track to going to a regional.
I have a hard time arguing with you. I think we look at that game and go, good Lord, the region may be decided on the first week.
Region 2.
Okay.
It feels like we're going to right now. It feels like we're going to have two teams in a region in an area round game, Lake Travis and Westfield, and the winner of that I think has the inside track. That said, if you're looking for a sleeper, there are tons of sleepers in this bracket. This is a minefield of a region. Okay, Jesuit's a sleeper, Rockwall's a sleeper. Spring is a big-time sleeper.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's paying attention to what the Lions are doing, but they look great.
Yeah.
Hewitt Midway's a sleeper. That's a team that took their lumps early but has figured it out.
Yeah.
If you squint, maybe you can see Highland Park, but I have my doubts.
It's interesting. I've talked to some people, Jay Plotkin, who we've had on the show, who's kind of trying to size up Lake Travis's chances as they go into this, and he's sitting there going, okay, well, that Westfield game looks tough in the second round. He's like, but then you might have Highland Park waiting for you. Now, that doesn't mean what it used to.
No.
They've had a rough
especially
year.
in 6A.
In 6A, it's just a different game. But that's a program with a ton of pedigree. They're not going to be intimidated. They owe Lake Travis still for that 07 title game.
I'll also tell you that Lake Travis losing Abe Willows has me spooked.
And Sammy Ocho on the defensive line.
I mean, they have lost.
Those are two huge losses.
You know who I think I'm picking? I think I'm picking Westfield.
I think I'm picking
Westfield.
My heart wants to because I feel like they are due. They need to overcome what they've gone through this year, some of the mistakes they've made. But I just don't trust them. I would love to see them make it, especially in an NRG year. I don't trust them.
I'm going for Westfield. That's my pick. Region 3.
Okay, all right.
Region 3.
All right.
It's Katy. Right?
It has to be.
It's got to be Katy. There are teams that can beat them.
Yep.
Clear Creek, I think, could beat them. Manville, I think, could beat them.
Probably.
But Pearland Dawson or LaPorte, both those teams are dangerous. Cy Ranch obviously has pedigree. But right now, I think that if you're picking anybody to come out of Region 3 besides Katy, you've got to have a really good reason. And there are good reasons.
But
they have been the most complete team.
We don't necessarily know how healthy Kyle Porter is.
We don't.
That's number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you look at the whole of the season, you take the full resume, it's hard to argue that there's any defense that comes close to theirs this year.
Right. It's exactly right. So, I'm taking Katy in Region 3.
All right.
Region 4?
Region 4.
It's got to be Cibolo Steel, right? I think they're the clear favorite out of Region 4. They've been the most consistent. They've been excellent all year long. If you're looking for somebody to up and get them, maybe a team like Schertz Clemens, who has a huge offense.
Sure.
Although I don't know how healthy Frank Harris is, their quarterback.
Right, we don't know.
Brennan's an interesting team.
But they're going to have to play their best game.
They'd have to play their best game to beat them. And then you have to assume, again, all due respect to our friends in the Valley, that you don't have a team like Laredo Alexander who's making a run, or San Benito.
Yep.
I think that right now it's got to be Cibolo Steel in there.
Right.
So that would give us semifinals of Cedar Hill against Spring Westfield, which is tantalizing.
Yeah.
And then you've got Katy against Cibolo Steel, which is super tantalizing.
Super cool. Interesting matchups. Yeah.
Here's where I'm going.
Okay.
You want to get silly?
Well, I got nothing else to do.
All Houston title game.
That'd be cool.
Spring Westfield and Katy.
That'd be cool. That would.
That's what we got.
Although I will say, well, I don't know. That's not really even a question, but it would be a lot cooler if it was a DFW team versus a Houston team.
For sure.
But
I think we've got an all Houston title game in 6AD2. I think you got Spring Westfield, and I think you got Katy.
Okay.
I think that's who I'm going with.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
So that's what we're doing. Tomorrow we will break down 5A, so join us on DCTF Live then. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I love the playoffs. And again, TexasFootball.com for all things, all the brackets, all the matchups, everything you need.